Good morning, everyone, and happy holidays. Welcome to Fraud Watch Friday for December 2022. I'm Ed Mickells, your AARP volunteer, and this is Fraud Watch Friday, sponsored by AARP. Today, we're going to talk about some holiday scams, the various factions about shopping for, paying, and also taking delivery. But before we do that, we got a little bit of housekeeping to deal with, and that is we want to make sure that you understand that everything I talk about here, plus so much more than you can imagine in terms of information about fraud, is available on the AARP website at www.aarp.org/Fraud Watch Network. And you can see it actually scrolling across the bottom of the screen. In addition to being able to look up things there, you can also, if you feel like you've been a victim of a fraud or a scam and need someone to talk to and get some help, you can call the AARP Fraud Watch helpline, which is toll-free, and that number is 877-908-3360. So, okay, let's move on now and start talking about the different kinds of scams that show up this time of year. And really, what we're talking about are things that are there all year long, but they tend to show up more often at this time of year when there's a lot of transactions going on with holiday shopping. So let's start first with shopping scams. What are some of the things that we're seeing happening out there? Well, first of all, a lot of this stuff is going to come to you unsolicited through social media. You know, we've talked in the past about how responding to certain things on social media, certain fun kind of questions can expose you as well as your friends to a variety of data gatherers and marketers. And this is where it often shows up. You might receive information. Someone has been tracking what you've been shopping for online, and you receive an offer that's unsolicited that comes to you for perhaps some sort of gift or object that you've been shopping for. You've got to be careful about these, and there are certain things that you've got to watch and that are tip-offs that there might be a scam involved. The first one is the most obvious, and I'm sure you've all heard this a million times before. If the price is too good to be true, it probably is. I was reading on a legitimate net marketing website the other day, and it said that a good rule of thumb is if the discount for a popular item is more than 55%, you can almost be sure that it's a scam. Why? Well, why would anybody sell something that low if it could be purchased or sold, I should say, if it could be sold for closer to full price? So there's a red flag right there. Another thing to look for when you receive these is to look up at the URL address at the top. And you'll often see something there that looks a little bit unfamiliar. An example might be, let's say you were looking at the AARP. You're planning to shop from an AARP.org site, but you look up there and you see that the information is coming from AARP.org. Well, when things like that happen, it's a dead giveaway that something funny is going on. Probably a scam or fraud is involved. So always go up and take a look at those URLs at the top of your social media page or email or whatever it be. Thirdly, a red flag is when it asks you to click through on a connection. And when you click through, a couple of things may be happening. First of all, they may be asking you for personal information, passwords, IDs, a variety of different things. The second and perhaps more malevolent part of that is that by clicking through, you could launch malware that can be loaded into your computer and can look for important information on your computer even without your knowledge. So stay away from those click-throughs. Another giveaway is if there is some information on there that suggests that this is very, very urgent, you have to act now, there's only 1 or 2 items left. That's a giveaway that something is, when there's a big rush, it's a reason to be careful. And you want to watch out. Also, watch out when they ask you to pay with a gift card or with one of the social media transaction services like Venmo or something like that. The crooks love these items because those are ways that they can get money transferred to them without it being tracked, and therefore harder and harder for you to recover it. So going back over these things again, if something's too good to be true, it probably is. If something is coming from a fake or abnormal URL address, that's a red flag. You definitely want to stay away from those. Items that ask you to click through, those are things you want to stay away from because very realistically, they could be launching malware into your system. Again, the urgent call for payment with a non-traditional payment method, you should use, whenever possible, your credit card, not your debit card, but your credit card, because many of the credit cards and the banks that issue them have fraud protection they'll make available to you. And finally, one further thing, remember when you're looking at the merchandise, be sure that it's what you really want to buy. So many knockoffs are out there, so many things that are like what you think you're going to buy, but are not exactly, could end up meaning that you get something that's of substandard or shoddy quality. So that's the part about shopping. Now let's move forward to the part about paying for things. And we've already talked a little bit about the gift cards and how the bad guys like to use that as a way to collect money. But did you know that if you're giving gift cards, there's also a danger that you could be scammed, and you wouldn't even know it. Many times, well, I won't say many times, but there are frequently people out there who go into stores like your local drugstore or your pharmacy or grocery store that have the large racks of gift cards. They'll grab a stack of these, move to a different part of the store, and scratch off the ID numbers, the validation numbers on there, and copy them down. Then put a fake strip back over the ID number and return the cards back to the rack. Then, once they are legitimately scratched open and activated by the cashier, they have software in place that notifies them that the card has been activated, and they immediately start draining funds out of it, either through purchases or conversion to cash. So those can happen. In addition, though, there are things that are being done to prevent that, and we'll get to that in a moment. In addition to these individuals checking on this and draining the cards as soon as they're activated, there's another group that runs software that shows cards that have been purchased and used, but leave by the intended user, but leave some of the money on the card. They then go in and harvest the remaining amount of money that's on the card so that when the person goes back to use the balance again, it's gone. So these are ways that cards are being used to drain money, to scam money off, and makes them a bad choice unless certain precautions are taken. The precautions should be, number one, that be careful and look at any gift cards you might be giving, making sure that they do not look doctored, that the bar has not been scratched off and it looks like it's intact. Secondly, many companies now are sealing their cards in plastic wrap or other means to make sure that bar is not available until the cashier can open up the gift card and scratch that away to do the activation. So you use those types of cards when you have the opportunity. Other things, tips about using gift cards. Like I said, check to make sure that that strip hasn't been bothered, that it's securely packaged. Buy directly from the company that you want to use, the retailer you want to use. In other words, go to um, their consumer service desk within the store where the cards are secured away from everything else. Or secondly, buy them online and have them shipped to you, thereby avoiding the possibility that they're being tampered with in the store. If you should get a gift card for a gift, should receive it from somebody as a gift this year, use it very, very quickly. Don't let it sit around for a long time. This increases the amount of possibility that someone's going to notice the card and possibly strip the value out of it. If you do use it, try and use it up completely with your first transaction so that there's no remnants there to be harvested later on. And finally, as I said in the beginning, never pay with gift cards or give out any kind of personal information that might be asked related to them. Should you be offered the opportunity to get a free gift card for giving personal information, this is almost always a scam and a reason that you want to stay away from it. Looking at the third and final part of this transaction sequence is shipping scams. And if you haven't had this happen to you, you are certainly among the lucky. Almost everybody I've ever talked to has received what is called phishing email that says, hey, we tried to make a delivery to your house and we're unable to do so. Please contact us, provide us with additional information so we can set up a proper delivery time. This has been shown to come from various sources, like apparently coming from the U.S. Postal Service, from Amazon Prime, from FedEx, from UPS. Uniformly, if they're asking you to click through and provide additional information, this is a scam. Basically, the people that are sending these out are betting that you're not paying attention to all the things that you've purchased, that you may have lost track of things that are coming, or that you're surprised that you're receiving maybe a gift from someone this time of year that you hadn't anticipated. If you expect that there is something coming and you receive a message like this, do not respond to these emails. Instead, go to the site, UPS, United Postal Service, FedEx, U.S. Postal Service, Amazon Prime, any of these, load in your order number that it was given to you when you bought from the retailer and they said they were shipping. They will then be able to tell you exactly where your package is in the shipping process and won't ask you to provide any information like your Amazon ID or passwords to any type of accounts like this. So if these show up, definitely a red flag. Go to the website to rectify it. Don't provide personal information. Finally, let's talk about porch pirates. I'm losing my voice and I apologize for that. There's been a real problem with people, and you see it perhaps daily on the news, that someone's gone on to someone's porch, stolen a package that's been delivered, and makes off with it, which they then go and sell online. There's not much you can do about a porch pirate if they're following directly behind the delivery service, and a lot of them do that. But things that will mitigate the situation: if you have a doorbell, a Ring doorbell camera, or another security camera, you can hopefully capture the identity of these people and they can be caught later. Unfortunately, they're getting smart and they're learning how to duck under the cameras and the line of sight, or to cover their faces, making it very difficult to stop that. So other choices are to ask neighbors, friends, or other people who might be at home during the day when you're expecting or have been notified of delivery to get over to your house and pick it up as quickly as possible. If you're home, get outside and pick that up off the porch as quickly as possible. Don't allow it to sit there. There are also available through some of the shipping groups like USPS, by UPS and FedEx, that they can be delivered to their stores nearby, and you can go up and pick them up later in the day safely. And finally, you can also look into other alternatives that are available from that many local retailers make available, where they will accept products for you and you can pick them up at a later time. So keep an eye out for those. They'll usually notify you or have some sort of posting available. That's about it for now. So I just want to remind you once again that to get more information about these issues and many more, go to www.aarp.org/Fraud Watch Network. And if you have been scammed or feel you've been scammed, you would like to talk to someone who can help you, give you more information, call our toll-free number. That is 877-908-3360. That's about it for me today. I hope you have a wonderful and blissful holidays, healthy and happy with your families. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing my family during the holidays, and I hope you have a chance to see someone who's special to you there as well. Thanks again for attending our little seminars here on AARP Fraud Watch, and look for me next month in January, where we'll talk about some other scams that are going on out there. Thanks again. Have a great day. Bye.